Folks, we have some exclusive breaking news coming out of the Bernie Madoff case right now, and our own Adam Shapiro is here to break the news. Adam, what do you have?
Well, very simply, this is a Fox Business exclusive. Irving Picard, the Bankruptcy Court trustee who works for SIPC, is actually looking at clawing back billions of dollars from Madoff investors. What this means in English is if you're a Madoff investor and you lost money to this man because of the Ponzi scheme blowing up, but say in the last 6 years you took money out, you thought you had profits, you withdrew those funds, Mr. Picard and the Bankruptcy Court are coming after you to claw back the funds, any earnings you took that are greater than your principal, and they're also coming after interest on those earnings.
Is this the first time that we're discovering that someone is going to do the clawback? Because it was discussed before, but never in reality.
It's been discussed, but
right?
a source extremely close, a lawyer who is working on all of this, has informed Fox Business that this is going to happen. And then tomorrow, we have the first meeting of Mr. Picard, the Bankruptcy Court trustee, and several creditors in regards to matters that involve Bernard Madoff investment securities, and you can bet this would probably be part of it.
How far back are they going to go?
They're looking at going back 6 years. So if you, again, are an investor, if you took out money in excess of your initial investment, you are at risk, and they're coming after that money.
How many defendants are we talking about here potentially?
Well, potentially could be that whole, remember that list of 13,000? You know, and those are, some of those are repeated names, but anybody on that list, if again you withdrew funds from Bernie Madoff in the last 6 years,
so wait,
you could be part of this.
They're going to go after, they're going to sue the Elie Wiesel Foundation. They're going
if the foundation withdrew funds, yes, that's what a clawback would be.
The person, though, that invested money and was taking, we heard from so many retirees that were taking a monthly check. They probably are not subject to this because of the fact that they were taking basically dividend distributions, or whatever you want to call them, that would not add up to the principal amount.
If it doesn't add up to the principal, no. But if it's greater than the principal, then you're exposed to the clawback. We do have a comment, and it's a no comment. Mr. Picard is not commenting on potential litigation. But again, our source tells us this is going to happen.
Stuart's here with us. Stuart Varney.
I was sorry to interrupt, but there is legal precedent for this, I believe. Was that the Bayou scandal, where they clawed back anything that had been taken out? There is legal precedent, is what I'm trying to say.
I'm not familiar with that, but, you know, it's been discussed that this could happen, and the investors have been very afraid that this would happen.
Well, it's terrible because it's a double victimization of victims.
Yes.
That's what it amounts to.
Okay, but then on the flip side, what if you're one of the people who never withdrew funds and now you have no money and your funds were used to pay other people? The people who never withdrew money may look at it differently and say, this isn't victimization, this is a potential ability to get my money back.
But the people who took money out in the last 6 years were not drawing it out because they thought there was something wrong. They were drawing it out because they thought they'd made a profit. They were legitimately making a withdrawal.
They go back 6 years. I could see 6 days, but 6 years.
Yeah.
These people
There's a huge moral dilemma in this, obviously. But so they could bring 13,000 defendants, but we don't know. It could be a lot less.
And it will be a lot less. I mean, when that 13,000 list that the Bankruptcy Court released, remember, that was funds. And the funds, like the Ariel Fund, Mr. Merkin, he was on there several times. And he, by the way, is exposed to this clawback because we learned from the felon who was running Ariel Fund, according to the recent document from NYU, that he was paid $200 million from Madoff funds from 1993 to 2002, I believe it is. So potentially some of that money is clawbackable.
And we should mention that he's now being sued, of course, by NYU.
Oh, yeah. He's being sued by lots of people.
Well, but that's the big, you know, this week is NYU is making some pretty strong arguments, in course, that he was negligent in his...
The headline, though, from Fox Business, and that any investor of Bernard Madoff is going to be paying attention to, is potentially if you took money out and you took out money that exceeds your initial investment, they're coming after you.
Steven Spielberg, Kevin Bacon, Elie Wiesel Foundation, I mean, the list...
All of those funds. Carlo Shapiro.
How did they arrive at 6 years?
That we don't know. That's a good question, but that we don't know.
At the end of the day, the only winners are the lawyers, because there's not that much money, presumably, that you can actually get back.
When we spoke to victims in Palm Beach of this scam, they were furious because now we know that they're going to try and go back 6 years. Well, the victims are saying, but I can only go back 3 years to amend my taxes. How come the government can come after me to go back 6, but I can only go back 3?
That's a very good point.
Remember, they're going to have to pay interest on the clawback. They're also, but they had to pay capital gains taxes, and now they can only go back 3 years to get it. It seems to the victims of this huge scandal just horrible.
We've even talked about the potential of civil lawsuits against each other to try try and get money back from those people who had taken money out from Madoff funds that were really their money.
You're seeing those lawsuits, though.
That's
I mean, that's the NYU. Yeah,
Yeah.
And this will be a lawsuit. This will,
Yeah.
I mean, potentially, Mr. Picard, the bankruptcy court trustee, is going to have to go after anybody who they identify as having taken out
There's
those funds.
a lot to cover on this story, and a lot more coming up in the next hour of Fox Business. Mr. Stuart Varney coming up for another hour of Fox Business. Tom and I will see you tomorrow.